All right, great to have you back. If you've just joined us, this is This Morning live on LN 24/7, wherever you are watching us across the network and across the world. We're moving into the next segment on the program this morning, and it's a very robust conversation on matters affecting Nigeria that is on the front burner. And on this occasion, we're looking at the state of insecurity in Nigeria using Uromi killings, as point of contact to discuss matters arising. We started earlier on by telling you about uprisings here and there in Benue State, and just as the weekend was rolling out, we heard another in Plateau State, and Nigerians are worried. These unending killings and insecurity in Nigeria. All right, let's give you a little bit of introduction into the conversation before we delve into it fully. On Friday, March 28, 2025, a tragic incident occurred in Uromi, Edo State, Nigeria, where a mob killed 16 individuals traveling from northern Nigeria. The victims, who were said to be hunters en route to Kano State, were intercepted by local security personnel who discovered homemade weapons in their vehicle. This discovery led to suspicions that they were kidnappers, resulting in a mob action and setting fire on these victims using vehicle tires. The incident prompted swift reaction from various authorities. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo condemned the killings and suspended the commander of the Edo State Security Corps, CP Friday Ibadin, retired, due to the involvement of illegal vigilante groups in the attack. Governor Okpebholo also pledged compensation to the victims' families and commended the people of Kano State for their restraint in avoiding reprisal attacks. President Bola Tinubu also condemned the killings, directing security agencies to conduct thorough investigations and ensure that perpetrators face justice. He commended the efforts of Governor Monday Okpebholo and Uromi's traditional leaders in preventing further violence. Investigations are ongoing, with 14 suspects arrested in connection with the killings. The Edo State government has vowed to dismantle illegal vigilante groups operating within the state to prevent further incidents. Now, residents have been urged to remain calm as authorities work to restore peace and uphold the rule of law. Well, that's exactly the situation there in Edo State. And as we also said, it's resonating across other states in Nigeria, Benue State, Plateau State, and much more. So it will form, at the fulcrum of the discussion we're going to have here. And we have the following talking points to guide us. We will be highlighting the dangers of mob justice and assessing government's response and accountability on situations like this. We shall also be addressing vigilantism and the need for stronger law enforcement amidst insecurity concerns in Nigeria, while exploring impact on community relations and setting up proper frameworks to calm ethnic tensions. Zoe, it's all set.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. And, for the Uromi killings, there's still very much on it. I mean, for the fact that we've not, that we're able to bring the situation under control, I respect how the governor of Edo State has, interfaced, with, I think it was the governor of Kano State or so that came, because these hunters, that were traveling, they were on their way to Kano for the Salah break and all of that. So we've not seen any sort of reprisal attacks, which is commendable, because in instances like this, people might be very quick to want to retaliate or say, okay, we're going to, do ours. But that is not the case, and we commend all of the parties for that. But again, the investigations are ongoing, like you rightly pointed out in the introduction. Some suspects have been arrested as well, and the investigation has to continue, because
Absolutely.
on the other side also there's a firm insistence that the perpetrators of this must be brought to book. You cannot have a mob action or a jungle justice as justification because you think someone is guilty does not actually make them guilty
until it's proven guilty.
so, and
Indeed.
so you don't know if they were actually innocent or not. So that is ongoing.
All right, and as the investigations continue, Nigerians continue to discuss this. Joining us on this discussion, Comrade Collins Osagai is APC chieftain and the former senior special assistant to former Governor Adams Oshiomhole. He is also the media aide to Governor Monday Okpebholo. Also joining him is Ogbeide Efaluyi Isibo. He's a PDP chieftain, Edo State, and former Honorable Commissioner for Digital Economy, Science and Technology in Edo State. We also have Dr. Awal Abdullahi Aliyu, who's a security expert and Secretary General, Armed Forces Federations, Veterans Federations of Nigeria. Gentlemen, it's great to have you on this occasion. Welcome to On the Front Burner here in the studio. Collins, we start with you. Later on, we will cross over to Benue State, to also look at what is happening there. Collins, this is one that is kind of putting Edo State at the center of it all. Update us on all that have happened so far. A lot of talking points around the killing in Uromi.
Yeah, Eminike, good morning. My dear sister over there.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Welcome. Comrade, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, just as just progressive mind have always jungle justice is no. No matter how we understand the pains most of our citizens have been feeling to head activities, our borders, and even in cities, like we have had some here northeast, or one west, or one local government, how has it well? These are looking to say, they are, but however, jungle justice, I think, well dealt with in this country. Well, some persons to feel because one person probably is affected or have been this person is a criminal, and they can just take clause into their hand. I think deterrent should be served. Although primarily are very hospitable, people have houses here, and they are even not young. We're in those states, you have people regions and claim and giving themselves just to say how the kind of liberty they want, and the people.
Okay, looks like.
For Uromi for them. But we really that.
Indeed, your signal is fluctuating there, Comrade Collins Osagai.
Yeah, they were.
Okay, we will give you a few minutes to tidy up your signal and stabilize it. But Zoe, that's Comrade Collins Osagai. He's an APC chieftain and media aide to Governor Monday Okpebholo, updating us. All right, let's bring in Ogbeide Efaluyi Isibo, who is a PDP chieftain and a former Honorable Commissioner for Digital Economy, Science and Technology in Edo State. Great to have you, Honorable. We are looking at the dangers of mob justice and assessing government's response and accountability on this occasion. Let's have your take.
Good morning, and thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and to interface with Nigerians on issues that bother everybody. With respect to the Uromi issue, Edo has been in the news for not very nice reasons, specifically because of the Uromi mob attack. And we have seen wide condemnation of the mob killing from across the country. The president has responded, governors have, individuals have, and I think that's commendable. However, the Edo people and indeed the Uromi people feel that there should be a whole lot more than just condemning the Uromi attack. And since investigation is still going on, we don't want to conclude that they were hunters. They're suspected hunters. So I would rather have us measure the nomenclatures we give them until investigations are concluded, because a lot of people still feel some kind of way that some people travel with weapons across the country, and we're not very sure what exactly it was, but the story at the moment is that they were suspected hunters, and so I guess that's why we're running with that story. But insecurity has become very resplendent across Edo State and indeed many parts of Nigeria, and we do not tend to see the same measure of condemnation, against these pockets of insecurities across the nation. And that's why a lot of people are worried. Why we all condemn the mob attack, and we think that jungle justice should never be allowed, should never be the case. But you see, most of that happens when there's a failure of leadership, when there's a failure of government, when there's a failure on the side of the security agencies. For the case of Edo, for example, a few months ago, we had the sophisticated Edo security network where we had over 15,000 trained vigilantes, being deployed, trained by the police, being deployed by the state governments across the nooks and crannies of the state. These were locals who lived in those communities, who enlisted to become vigilante members, were trained and were equipped. And there was a sense in which they were able to help to reduce or prevent, some level of insecurity in their communities. But at the build up of the elections in September, the group was disbanded by the IG of police, and clearly, we saw a rise in insecurity because the intruders or those who were coming to cause harm in Edo State were saying that there was really no opposition, or no hindrance to what they were doing. And we're seeing an increased state of suspected headers invading farms, killing farmers, raping women, taking over communities. And this has been ongoing for aeon now, for quite a while. And the people have always come out to complain and to cry to government. But sadly, it appears that they didn't see a commensurate effort by government to check in these widespread, insecurities ravaging communities. And so a lot of people held the view that the condemnation the Uromi killing was having, there should have been commensurate condemnations before now of all the states of suspected headers clashes, or not even clashes, suspected headers invasion of communities across Edo State, with scores of people killed, farmlands burnt, houses burnt, women raped and killed. And so it's a lot of people, were in a straight betwixt too. Yes, we will condemn mob action, but we should condemn the sustained and unprevented killings of a lot of Edo farmers and Edo people across the state. And so I held the view to, just like many people, that insecurity anywhere should be condemned, and government should have the same temerity, the same vigor, the same zeal, the same zest, the same enthusiasm to address killings wherever it happens. There was really no justification, if you ask me, for the mob to have taken that action. But many people felt that they had cried out to the police, they had cried out to the Edo State government on a sustained basis, and nobody said anything. The governor, till this moment, has never visited any location where the people have cried out to say, "Oh, we are being destroyed, or our farmlands are being destroyed by suspected intruders." that he went to Uromi because of the amount of publicity Uromi was getting, but people were worried. After Uromi, he went to Kaduna, he went to Kano, he went to Katsina. What of the Edo people? The governor has not addressed the Edo people. He has not told them what he's doing, what actually happened, what the plans are. He has not allayed the fears of the Edo people. He has not addressed the fact that there's a shortfall of insecurity in Edo State, and that should fall on the table of government. So I
Exactly.
think that there must be a more robust approach on how to tackle insecurity in Edo State and across Nigeria.
Indeed, indeed, Obede, indeed. And that's exactly why this conversation is holding, looking into the nitty-gritty of how to curtail these happenings and even the reoccurrence. You notice that the same is happening elsewhere in Benue and Plateau, not just in Edo State. We will come back to you. We were talking earlier on, we were talking with the former commissioner, former special aide to Adams Oshiomhole, and of course the media aide of the current governor, Monday Okpebholo, Collins Osagai. Collins, it's your signal better now. Are you back with us before we hand you over to our Abuja studio?
I am here. I hope the Nigerian network system will help me better.
It's better now. It's better now. Okay, so we are looking at that mob action. You heard Obede Ifaluyi Sibo there expressing concern on frequency of these things and what better government can do in curtailing, if not eliminating these things, especially in Edo State. We also had similar incidents in Benue State. In a short while, we will be crossing over to Benue to also, bring us up to speed in this conversation on what the situation is there. Collins, you've worked with Adams Oshiomhole, and now you are with Monday Okpebholo. Kind of questions being raised: is government doing enough, in this circumstance to curtail these happenings?
You took action. I have not fully been appointed by His Excellency, but I was his media aide during the campaign council, and I'm one of the party faithful. Yes, that on that. But however, I had my friend Ifaluyi Isibo try to paint it and make it look as if the former governor did something sustainable. What the government, when he was in government, was to bring our youth to allow some of them to himself and created more insecurity. He wasn't paying them, regulating their arms, and all of them were just doing liked, and they were working in anger. You go on the street of Benin, you hear vigilante members saying, how can a governor just be like this? Year in, year out, he keep promising to start paying, giving them enumeration, and none of these things was happening. Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hello, can you?
Go ahead,
Good.
please. Yes.
So, in all of that, what the former governor did was to help to create more insecurity even before he left. Because before the former governor or former administration left, where Faluyi Simba was the commissioner, there was insecurity too everywhere. The people were crying. That was why you saw the civil society people and faithful Edo people protesting as at that time in different occasions, asking the governor, what are you doing about the herders' activities in our forest? What were you doing about the farmers killing? Most of our farmers were being attacked at different forests. So all these shifting blames and trying to be holier than the Pope that Obaseki administration is trying to bring in is completely out of it. The issue of security is an issue that has to do with everybody. And we have it. We want to appreciate first a vigilante for going further based on information they said they gathered and trying to hold on to some persons. What we expected them to have done was to hand over them to the authority like the police or the DSSS to investigate the activities of those that were arrested instead of being overwhelmed and allowing them to take charge.
Indeed,
That was
comrade.
actually where the mistake came from.
Indeed, comrade. We will get to the bottom of this, and at the end of the day, try to provide a solution. Thank you for all that contribution. We have a security expert, a war veteran in our midst, and the president of the Northern Consensus Movement. He's a civil rights activist, and of course, the Secretary General of the Armed Forces Veterans Federation of Nigeria, Dr. Awal Abdullahi Aliyu, joining us from Kaduna. Good morning, Doc, and thanks for your time this morning. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yes, Doc, you are a war veteran and the security expert. We're looking at this situation, uprising, killings in Uromi, uprising in Benue State and Plateau State, vigilantism and the need for stronger law enforcement amidst insecurity concerns. Let's have your perspective on this.
Well, thank you very much once again. Like we all know, security is everybody's business. So every Nigerian, every community is supposed to involve in the issue of security. It is not just the responsibility of security agencies alone, or you term it to say it's a government responsibility to handle issue of security. All must be able to handle security and possibly solve the problem. Starting with that, the issue of vigilante, not only in Edo, Benue, or Plateau, you will recall the challenges that vigilante brought in Zamfara, in most especially when we start from Zamfara and the Katana, KB access, that today we are having the problem of banditry and what have you. If most of the early bandits that were arrested, they only alleged their involvement in banditry due to the illegal activities of this vigilante. They are overzealous. They do what they are not supposed to do, or they go beyond whatever is their responsibility. In most cases, this bribe collection, illegal detention, and as well as unnecessary killings of people. This has been known with vigilante. Hence the reason why a certain level of regulation was introduced into the issue. The regulation is that they will be trained by the police so that they could know what the law says, where they start and where their right to duty stops, what they needed to do at what time, and things like that. And that is the reason why the police were brought in, so that they can provide them with the basic knowledge of, first, the use of arms, and then second, knowing the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, knowing the Constitution and working within the ambit of their operations. But unfortunately, once after the training they are unleashed into the community, they forget those things that they received during the training. They do what their minds tell them at the time. They find themselves under whatever circumstances. So you see, that is a very big challenge. The same thing is applicable in the other part of the current country. I just listened to the last speaker, the second to the last speaker, and the last speaker concerning the political allegation of the performance of the Edo State governor. The other is saying that the governor didn't do well. That was police disbanded the vigilante, and that's the reason why there's an influx of insecurity generally in Edo State. Better is saying no. It's because the former governor was not paying them, and there was lamentation on the street everywhere, and that is the reason why there was inflow of security. But I really wish to recall or inform the former, that is the former commissioner, that the governor did what he's supposed to do as a governor, not just the commissioner. I have listened to a lot of comments. I have seen a lot of social media videos flying, and they were complaining and then some castigating the governor of Edo State, that is the present governor, the senator, for traveling to Kano, and as of course going to the villages to go and condole with the families of the Edo 16. As the president of 1917 Northern Consensus Movement, like you know, it's an amalgamation of 596 registered association. As I speak to you, all association of Northerners resident in 19 northern states and in the 17 southern states are affiliated to us. We set up a committee of 5. As I speak to you, they are in Edo up to this moment, talking, getting views from both angles, and we are getting reports of what is happening. I will tell you that the governor did wonderfully well. We at the 1917 Northern Consensus Movement will commend the governor of Edo State for the proactive steps he has taken. In our press conference, and a part of our demands was that he goes, travel to Kano, and then console with the government and the people, and also he should travel to the community and console with the families, direct families of the victims, as well as payment of adequate compensation of committee to investigate thoroughly the people who perpetrated that act and arresting as well as prosecuting those people. Why we said so was to first to let it serve as a deterrent not only to the people of Edo State but to other parts of Nigeria, including Northern, to take the law into his hands. Such actions should be taken against them. That is number one. Number two, it has doused the initial tension, the initial reprisal attack plan by the northern youths themselves. If you are seeing videos flying, the youths in the north were preparing to begin a reprisal attack against Edo citizens that are resident in the entire northern Nigeria. But that single step of the governor leaving Edo, traveling to Kano, condole and console the government and people of Kano State, as well as going to the families of the Uromi 16, has completely doused and brought down to the letter of the attempt for reprisal attack. So I think the Edo people should be appreciative of the effort of the governor, because he has succeeded in bringing down an attempt to begin killing and maiming, which most likely would have snowballed to the entire northern state, and by extension the other part of the country that only God knows what would have happened, because the northern youths were bitter and angry with this killing. It is strongly and 100% believed that the people involved are hunters. They have everything that indicates that they are hunters. They are there for hunting. And the Hunters Association and different hunters group in the north have brought themselves, they were holding meetings and they were going to do a reprisal attack, which would have been devastating. I repeat, the action of the governor stopped that thing. So the governor should be commended. He should be appreciated by the people in Edo State, not condemned and castigated as they are doing now.
Indeed, Dr. Aliyu. Thank you so much for taking us through all that perspective. And as you said, thank you to Governor Okpebolo for the actions and steps he took in making sure there are no reprisal attacks. We will continue to seek solution. At this moment, we bring in our Abuja studio where Mono Balagbobo has been following the conversation. And remember that we also have similar situation in Benue State, and we also have Dr. Francis Ayege, a political analyst and a retired director of education, former chairman of Gwa West Local Government of Benue State, also with our correspondent out there in Benue State, Francis Ugbede, joining this conversation. Mono, over to you. You have the conversation already heating up. We hand over to you now in Abuja.
Well, I mean, you've been following the conversations, but let's talk on the ethnic tensions that surrounds the killings so far. It's the same thing for Edo State, Benue State, and now Plateau State. It seems like it is local communities versus Hausa, Fulani, herdsmen, or hunters. What is the solution to this lingering crisis? Because it's the same story, basically, across some of these states that are affected with this insecurity. So how do we bridge this gap between the Hausa Fulanis and the local communities? What do you think is the issue here? Because some of the persons I've spoken with have made it clear that it is an issue of terrorism, that it has gone beyond farmer-herders clashes. What is your observation of what has been playing so far? Dr. Owl.